The air is thick with smoke and anticipation. The sun has barely risen over the dense tropical forests of West Africa, yet the city of Benin hums with life. Traders shout across narrow streets, craftsmen hammer away at molten bronze, and the sound of marching warriors echoes from the palace gates. This is not just a city. This is a fortress. This is a kingdom that has stood for centuries, defended by walls so vast that travelers from distant lands marvel at their grandeur. Welcome to the Benin Empire, a civilization of warriors, artisans, and fire. For anyone witnessing it for the first time, the Benin Empire would seem almost mythical. Its city, Benin City, was a marvel of urban planning, protected by walls stretching thousands of kilometers, fortified with moats and watchtowers. Within these walls, bronze plaques told the stories of kings and battles, while highly trained soldiers patrolled the streets with unwavering discipline. But the grandeur of the city belied something even more remarkable: the ingenuity, military might, and cultural sophistication of a kingdom that was shaping the destiny of West Africa long before European traders arrived on its shores. To understand Benin is to understand the civilization built on strategic warfare, skilled craftsmanship, and political mastery. The origins of the kingdom trace back to around the 11th century, when the Edo people established a small settlement along the fertile banks of the Niger River. Over generations, this settlement evolved into a highly organized state ruled by the Oba, a king who wielded both spiritual and temporal authority. The Oba was not merely a figurehead. He was the living embodiment of the empire's power, commanding respect from his subjects and fear from his enemies. By the 15th century, Benin had transformed into one of the most formidable powers in West Africa. Its warriors were legendary. They trained relentlessly in the art of combat, wielding spears, swords, and shields with extraordinary skill. Military campaigns were carefully planned, and the kingdom's strategic position allowed it to control trade routes stretching from the forested interior to the bustling coastal markets. European visitors, arriving centuries later, would describe Benin's army as disciplined, highly organized, and nearly invincible in battle. Yet the military might of Benin was only one aspect of its greatness. The kingdom was also a center of artistic brilliance, renowned for its bronze work. Craftsmen, often working in secret guilds, created intricately detailed plaques, statues, and ceremonial objects that celebrated the Oba, the warriors, and the gods. These bronzes were more than decorative pieces. They were historical records, capturing the achievements and struggles of the empire in a medium that would survive for centuries. Each hammer strike, each carefully molded figure told a story of power, faith, and resilience. It was through these works of art that the world would come to recognize the sophistication of Benin's civilization. But what made Benin truly remarkable was the way it combined art, warfare, and government. The Oba presided over a centralized administration that regulated trade, managed resources, and maintained a loyal army. Tribute flowed from conquered territories, enriching the kingdom and funding grand projects. Ambassadors and traders from across West Africa and Europe arrived at Benin City, bringing goods, knowledge, and ideas, yet they also brought the constant threat of conflict. The empire thrived not just because of its strength, but because of its ability to adapt, innovate, and command respect on every front. Imagine standing on the edge of the empire's walls during a military campaign. Below, dense forests conceal raiding parties. Beyond the horizon, rival kingdoms plot to test the Oba's rule. In the streets, blacksmiths hammer bronze shields and spearheads, while messengers hurry to relay orders from the palace. The air vibrates with anticipation, because in Benin, every day is preparation for the unknown.
Challenges of tomorrow. Every citizen, every warrior, every artisan contributes to a society built on discipline, courage, and ingenuity. The first challenge to Benin's supremacy came not from foreign invaders, but from rival kingdoms within the forested heart of West Africa. While trade networks expanded wealth, they also attracted jealousy and conflict. Neighboring states occasionally attempted to seize territory or disrupt trade routes, forcing the Oba to demonstrate the empire's might. It was in these moments of confrontation that Benin's military innovation shone. Warriors employed clever tactics, including ambushes, coordinated flanking maneuvers, and the strategic use of natural terrain. The Oba's generals understood that a well-disciplined army, properly commanded, could defeat numerically superior forces. These lessons, etched into bronze plaques and oral histories, would define the kingdom's approach to war for generations. By the 15th and 16th centuries, Benin's reputation had spread to the coasts, attracting the attention of European traders. Portuguese ships anchored off the coast, intrigued by tales of a wealthy and organized kingdom. They brought with them metal tools, firearms, and new trade goods. In exchange, Benin offered ivory, pepper, and skilled labor. Yet the Oba maintained a careful balance. While eager to engage in trade, the kingdom never ceded control or allowed outsiders to undermine its authority. The military remained vigilant, the walls impenetrable, and the bronzes ever-present reminders of Benin's enduring strength. Perhaps one of the most striking features of Benin was its defensive architecture. The city was enclosed by massive walls, often called the Benin Moat. These walls were not mere barriers, they were feats of engineering, designed to protect against invaders while allowing the Oba to project power across the region. The walls were so extensive that some estimates suggest they covered over 16,000 kilometers in total length when considering the network of moats and embankments surrounding the capital and its neighboring territories. From atop these walls, archers could sweep the landscape for threats, and watchtowers provided vantage points to coordinate defensive maneuvers. In many ways, the walls were the backbone of the empire's stability, demonstrating the Oba's ability to blend strategic planning with architectural brilliance. Yet even a mighty empire is vulnerable to human ambition and greed. In the late 19th century, the arrival of European colonial powers brought unprecedented challenges. The British, seeking control over trade and territory, clashed with the Oba in what would become a devastating confrontation. The Benin expedition of 1897 marked a turning point. Despite fierce resistance from warriors defending their homeland, the British Army, armed with modern firearms and cannons, overran the city. Palaces were looted, bronzes melted or taken abroad, and the Oba was exiled. It was a tragic end to centuries of remarkable achievement. Yet, even in defeat, the legacy of Benin endured. The bronzes, carried to museums and private collections around the world, ensured that the artistry, military innovation, and culture of the kingdom would never be forgotten.
The story of Benin is not merely one of conquest and loss. It is a testament to the ingenuity, resilience, and creativity of a people. The warriors who trained relentlessly, the artisans who forged bronze with astonishing skill, and the Oba who ruled with both wisdom and strength, all contributed to a society that left an indelible mark on history. When modern scholars study urban planning, metallurgy, or military strategy in pre-colonial Africa, the Benin Empire often stands as a benchmark of excellence. Imagine walking today through the remnants of Benin City. Though much has changed, the echoes of the past remain. Earthworks hint at where walls once towered. Museums preserve the bronzes that once adorned royal palaces. Oral traditions keep alive the stories of queens, warriors, and kings. It is a history of power, artistry, and fire. A civilization that shaped the destiny of a region and whose influence resonates across the centuries. Benin teaches us that greatness is not merely about wealth or territory, but about discipline, creativity, and the courage to defend what is yours. It is a story of warriors who held the line, of artisans whose work defied time, and of kings who ruled with vision. It is a story of a city of fire and bronze, of walls that whispered of strength, and of a people whose legacy continues to inspire. As we look back, we see a civilization that was sophisticated, formidable, and ahead of its time, a true beacon of African ingenuity. In the end, the Benin Empire reminds us that history is written not only in the victories of empires, but also in the artistry, courage, and resilience of those who built them. Even centuries later, the echo of bronze shields, the hammering of metals, and the stories of warriors and kings carry across time, whispering the greatness of a kingdom that once commanded the forests, rivers, and hearts of West Africa.